My name's Jason Thomas. I'm co-owner of Urban Farmhouse Designs. I was probably 3 years old and there was a show called Fraggle Rock, and they had these little guys named doozers, and they built with these little clear sticks, and I was fascinated by that. So at the time, very poor, didn't have a lot in the house, but we had toothpicks, and so I started building with toothpicks like the doozers did. And yeah, that was the first time I started building, and I loved it, and they couldn't keep me out of the toothpicks. My grandfather for one, but a real close second to that was my grandmother. My grandfather was more the building blocks and how a job site gets put together. My grandmother was the person that was dragging me into Ralph Lauren stores and showing me design and different things like that. So I had both elements and very strong influence from both of them. So the combination of those two is really what I think shaped and molded a lot of who I am today. My grandfather had a gift for just seeing everything that was going on with the job site, and he had, gosh, I'm guessing probably 130 different subcontractors in motion at any given time. And I remember as a kid watching as almost effortlessly he just directed everyone, and he would have these giant sets of blueprints in front of him, and within seconds he could identify what needed to happen on the job site. If the guy came up to him randomly and said, "Hey, I have a question on how to float out this particular concrete pad," he just knew the answer instantly, and people just relied on his ability and skill to just direct any and all traffic flow and job flow that needed to happen. It was amazing. The best one that I have, oddly enough, is not in the building scenario. It's sitting on his lap watching the Cowboys and the Redskins. Coach Tom Landry, Tony Dorsett, Danny White, all the greats of Cowboy football. He ingrained in me a love for football and just, you know, the work ethic that's involved, and he taught me these life moments through watching football. So I learned a lot sitting on his lap watching football. 100%, I consider myself lucky. I've got an amazing family. We've got a great business. I'm as grateful for those things as I am the struggles that we've endured. And I know that sounds strange, but that's a lot of what's forged not only myself, but my family into who we are. I don't think we could be blessed at this level and have some sense of groundedness if we hadn't been through the struggles. And so I'm lucky to just live the path that God's put in front of us over these years, and I think there's a lot more on the other side of this, but you know, I'm one of those people that I'm grateful in the moment, that's for sure. I want it to be remembered as something that touched and pulled out the greatest and best out of whatever the person was, the thing, the material. I want us to be known for bringing the greatest value to the people and things that we are. And that's incredibly difficult. You know, people aren't perfect. Reclaimed wood isn't perfect. And so when you have a love and passion for both those things, and you can be a part of the evolution of those things under one roof and within the community that is our business, I think that's going to be something people talk about for a long, long time, because it's not easy, and I understand why most people don't do it, but we just have a love and passion for the things that most people discard or take for granted. A year from now, I see myself heavily involved in product development, more so even than we are now. Where I see Urban Farmhouse is probably involved in everything from real estate to anything that creates a sense of pride in home ownership and the family dynamic. Our goal is to connect with our people, and you know, the things and materials that we build with are just a medium to make that connection. Music. Everything from old country music, Waylon Jennings, Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, all the way to some of the new stuff, but there's some kind of rhythm that I get from just, I go blank and I can see in my head the things I want to design, the things that I want to do, the way I want to deliver the message that I want to create for the next path and vision that we go towards. So music's always been that place. I struggled with addiction the majority of my life is the real answer to that. Most people wouldn't be very candid about that, but drugs, alcohol, it has had a generational hold on my family, and the fact that I've been able, by the grace of God, to rise above it. I know what it's like to be in that hole. I know what it's like to be in that struggle, and if I'm given the gift to help and be something significant in these people's lives, then it's almost sinful not to be that person that I try to be. And God knows I fail at it sometimes, but it doesn't change just that. You ask me one word of describing me, and that's driven. I'm driven for this thing that is people, that is this place, that is this business. Yes, oddly enough, I do. There's some, I couldn't interpret it as a kid, but there's an anxiousness that you have sometimes that like you need to be expressing yourself. And sometimes it comes out in being hyperactive, it comes out in ill behavior, and I'm not saying my kids are so ill behaved, but they all have this boiling energy that's in them, and that tells me there's creativity, there's drive, there's desire, and so our job as parents is to help channel that so they can achieve what's in their heart and mind. No, I wouldn't. As much as I would like to take the $4 million learning curve that it's taken to learn how to be the largest manufacturer of retail furniture out of the equation, I don't think our future success is a lock because I skipped all those valuable steps. So that failure, that loss, that hurt, that agony of defeat, I've learned in life to embrace it and rise above it. And to skip all that would be, it just wouldn't make sense. You know, you got to go through the struggle sometimes.